Hello everyone, my name is Lane, and welcome back to another episode of OffLaine here on the Funny Fucker server. We're back. We are just chilling in the storage system. I have been using some of the shulker boxes that I got, and I've been trying to organize some of my stuff. Needless to say, some of the chests around the place have been a little messy, so I wanted to go through and organize them today. Um, while I do that, let's chat a little bit about video games, shall we? Um, the fuck? Who's calling me? Oh, someone in the middle of fucking nowhere. Hey guys, you ever get a phone call from a random number when you're doing something that's kind of important and it makes you a little bit angry, but not angry enough to start complaining about it? But then you start, like, describing it to someone, and then you start getting a little bit more angry about it? Yeah. Anyway. Anyways, yeah, so recently I've been trying to play new video games that I haven't played before. Like, I've been trying to push myself to be more active with different video games, so that it just kind of, so I have more experience playing them, you know? I don't like just kind of, I like playing new games sometimes, but sometimes I really don't. This is a good example of the time that reinforces the fact that I don't. Uh, so I was, um, so I was trying a new game. A game that's been in my library for a long time. It's not new. It's a couple of years old. But it's a game, like I said, been in my library for a little bit. I was trying a game. I was trying Postal 4. Now, if I was willing to put any kind of uh, effort into these videos, I probably would have footage of Postal 4 up on the screen right now. But I'm not going to. The thing is, when I first started Postal 4, I really enjoyed it. But you know that feeling when you're, like, playing a game and you could feel that the developers kept having really good ideas, but they should have put it in a different fucking game. That's kind of what Postal 4 feels like to me. Because while I was playing it, I was genuinely enjoying it. At, like, the first, it takes place in a new town, very similar vibes to Postal 2's town. Which is alright in and of itself. But once you get down to it, it does kind of just, it does mimic a bunch of what Postal 2 does, which is not the end of the world. It's not a bad thing. What Postal 2 does good is that whenever you're playing the game, and this is kind of from footage that I've seen, and in a couple of reviews that I've read as well, so keep that in mind. My opinion isn't completely original with this. Whenever you play Postal 2, it feels like you're just doing normal shit, going about your day, and then everyone else around you is fucking crazy. And that's kind of the fun part about it, because you're sitting here and you're like, alright, well, I just need you to sign this damn petition. But then you got, like, rioters outside, like, busting down the door. It's like, oh, son of a bitch. Well, I guess I'll take care of this. And then after you take care of that, more crazy shit happens. Like, it evolves in a way that feels natural. But with Postal 4, after playing it, it felt like that felt like what, because it goes through 5 days. It goes from Monday through Friday. But going through it, it feels like what you would expect, like, a parody game to do. That being, it does the first day well, and then it just keeps going. It's like if you had someone that told a good joke, and then just kept telling that same joke over and over and over and over again ad nauseum. That's what it felt like. Where, like, people kept going up to Postal Dude, and were like, hey, you gotta do this thing. He's like, alright. And then he does it, and then sometimes it's just fucking crazy. Like, I would get wanting to... Let's go back. I would get wanting to have a cohesive kind of story with it. But it just felt that, like, whenever he was somewhere, he was getting fucked over. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But I don't know if it was executed that well. By the end of the game, I was kind of sick of it. Pretty much. And, speaking of the end of the game, I will be talking about that in this video, so if you are planning on playing Postal 4, then these are I'm gonna spoil the end of the game. The thing with Postal is that the open world is genuinely really fun. I enjoy it a lot. Like, I did really enjoy they nailed it with that. They did nail the vibes of Postal 2's location. But I feel like when it comes down to the story, it leaves too much to be desired to consider it a game that I would replay. Would I replay it for the open world? Maybe, yeah. But there's a segment... Motherfucker. There's a segment of the story where it's pretty much like the entire world is ending. And everyone starts being hostile towards you specifically. And there's no reasonable explanation as to why, other than it's the apocalypse. But it's kind of a segment that was a little bit frustrating. Because, well, yeah, if everyone had a gun and they knew the apocalypse was coming, they would probably do something along the lines of tear each other apart, but I don't think that if someone was walking down the street, they would just randomly shoot them. Of course, that's whatever. It's a game design decision. It's not my... It isn't my cup of tea, and that's alright. Not all games are for everyone, and I guess that story of the game wasn't really for me. I will say, though, I did very much so enjoy the open world. I liked how it was presented. I liked how everything else worked with it. I feel like it really worked to its benefit. I feel like the devs have put in a lot of genuine time into making a really good title. But I feel like they had a bit of pressure to overperform, so they tried to instead of sticking to what they were good with. If that makes sense. I don't know. For every segment that worked with Postal 2, like for every open world segment that worked, there was an equal and opposite segment of the story that kind of just felt you know? It felt a little frustrating to go through. But I will say, like, I did genuinely enjoy it. Like, there wasn't a point in time where I wasn't enjoying the video game. That's a lie. There was. I was like sitting there and thinking about it. I was like, no. There was. There was a segment of the game where I was kind of not so much taken aback as much as I was just kind of aggravated. That segment where it was like the apocalypse and everyone was like everyone was shooting at you specifically. It did feel bad in a way. I just didn't really care for it. I felt like the challenge of, oh man, everyone's mad at you, everyone's going to kill you, so now you gotta make it all the way there, should have been presented with a little bit more I don't know. I felt like it was a little weird to have. Make sure all this stuff is stackable. But yeah, overall, I would genuinely... If you like Postal games, you probably have already fucking played Postal 4. But I feel like it is a game that people should check out. But yeah, that rant aside, I have been trying to push myself to play more games offline because I've had a very bad history with playing playing games or either playing games or going through and trying to play games, but then just like backing out of it and only wanting to do them on stream. And I noticed that it was something that it's been going well. Like I've played Half-Life for the first time. I've played Postal 4. I've played it's the main reason why I started playing Roblox, actually. Again, my account's like 10 years old. I know what it is. Like I've played it, but like, you know what I mean. It's a big stepping stone for me to actually enjoy playing games again. Because before I even started streaming, I would just rather watch people play the games. I didn't really want to play them myself. I would watch someone play them, and then, because I would assume at the time I didn't have a good computer, but then I got a good computer, and it kind of should have fixed itself, but it didn't. So it's kind of sitting there wanting. Like, I'll say, oh yeah, I've like watched someone play this game, this game, this game, and this game. Like, I've watched people play Bloodborne. But of course, that's the bad example. I've watched people play, God, a bunch of different games. I watched a bunch of Gary's Mod stuff back in the day, but I never played it myself. I played it a little bit, but I mostly delegated that to watching other people play it. So getting to actually play some of these games again for the first, either again or for the first time, feels like I'm like honoring my younger self, you know? In a good way, of course. In a good way. It gives me a reason to keep playing. Like, for example, one of my friends from middle school, amazing guy, he has gifted me so many really good games before I even heard about them in the mainstream. Like, I had Cruelty Squad before I've had Cruelty Squad before even, like, anyone made a fucking video on it. And that's just because he found it, and then he gave it to me, and then I haven't played it. But, like, he found it, and then just gave it to me. I was like, oh, shit. Thanks. But now that I'm getting along to playing some of these, it's like, oh shit, these are fucking good. Like, I'm not a big fan of horror. Personally. Being scared is not an emotion I like to feel in my day-to-day. So I wouldn't ever really consider playing some of the games in my library. But sometimes I would pick up some random fucking game that's in my library already. And even if it's a horror game, it's like a shitty horror game. And it's fun. Because it's shitty, you know? And even then, it's a good way to, like, I have a bunch of, like, mental barriers that sometimes bar me from playing games. Like, for example, I'm never going to play Fortnite. I'm sticking by that until the day I die. I'm not going to. It's just not in the cards for me. But there are games that I want to try that I haven't tried yet. But the reason why I haven't tried them is because of those mental barriers. Like, for example, like a really good example, one of my friends, Ellie, bought me Lethal Company. Do I want to play it? Yeah. Am I going to play it anytime soon? I don't know. Because of my shitty brain mentality, you know? It's just a weird thing I constantly have to deal with. And like, frankly, I don't like it. Of course, I'm gonna have to deal with it. And I have to cope in any way that I can. But, you know, doesn't mean I'm gonna be happy coping with it, you know? I don't know if anyone else shares that feeling, though. Having, like, wanting to play games but having such a, like, weird mental barrier that it prevents you from ever enjoying stuff. But yeah, it does, sometimes it does genuinely feel like I can only play, like, Minecraft, and sometimes very, very rarely Roblox. I don't know why. It just feels, it's weird. It's weird to me. I know some other people have experienced similar things. I remember a streamer that I used to watch but don't watch anymore, being in the same boat where they felt like they couldn't do anything, you know? Like, they felt trapped into playing a certain game, a certain franchise, being a certain way, and they felt like they couldn't really do anything. It sucked. And it does suck. I mean, of course it does. I still need to name you. Chan, if you guys have an idea for a cat name. But yeah, those kinds of games are very strange to me. The way that like I'm interested in them, but not interested enough to try and pass that mental barrier, you know? I just wish I was able to. One day I'll get around it. I know I will. I'm slowly pushing through it myself. And it might be signs of other mental illnesses present, but, you know, I'd rather not think. I'd rather not think about that. I'd rather find my own solutions to the problems instead of going to someone and them telling me, yeah, you're ill, and then just giving me something that won't fix it. Maybe I'll do... Maybe I'll just fill that and then put it in here. Yeah, just do that. Like that. And then I can grab some of these. Bam, bam. And I'll put that in my ender chest. That'll be my boom box. Right. Well, I think I've cleaned up. So that was my rant for the episode. I think we're good for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I would very much so greatly appreciate it. And if you really like the video, consider commenting and liking the video as well. But I will see you guys again in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.